Hello, friends. This is my very first time to do a live video on YouTube, so I'm hoping that this comes out right. Um, it's been a long day, and we're getting ready to have dinner, but I just wanted to come on and make this little video because we had a miracle in our family a week ago, and it's been 1 week, and I haven't done a video, but I just wanted to come and share because it was quite incredible. My two granddaughters and a friend were in a car accident last Saturday, and they were in a rollover. They went off the road, they missed the turn or didn't make the turn, judged it off, and went off the road and over a ditch and rolled their car 5 times, 4 to 5 times, they estimate. They ended up about 156 feet away from the road. And these sweet granddaughters of ours, when my daughter got the call from her daughter that was driving, Nautica, when she got the call, she just ran out, said, the girls were in a wreck, I have to go, and off she went. And I knew that meant I was here to watch the kids, the little ones. And so, at first, I thought, oh, okay. And then it dawned on me, well, this is pretty serious, because she ran out really fast, didn't even say anything to me. And you know how all kinds of things go on in your head, like all sorts of things. And then I just stopped really quickly and just said a quick prayer. And as soon as I did that, I just felt very calm. Calm came over me. But then I went inside and I realized that after a little while, if they didn't come home, I was going to have to tell the girls where their mom and dad went and what was going on. So that made me a little nervous, because I thought I want to make sure that I share this in the right way and that everything's okay. Well, not very long after that, the family's in the back making tinfoil dinners around the campfire, so we're getting excited to have dinner tonight. You're so nice back there. But so my son-in-law called me and he said, hey, we gave them blessings. Nautica's okay, but Zyla is having some difficulties. And he had shared with me that he was really nervous and he felt really bad because he had a prompting that he should drive, that he shouldn't let the girls drive. But he kind of dismissed it, thinking, well, she's a good driver and she needs some experience, and this would be a good day for her to have that. And so he went ahead and let that happen. But he expressed that to me, and that he felt sad that he hadn't just let himself, he was kicking himself. He just wished he had he wished that he could have let her drive, or not let her drive, that he had driven. And then I can't remember if it was my son-in-law that told me this or my daughter called me, but anyway, they let me know that Zyla wasn't doing too good. She was in critical condition and that she had been thrown from the car. And so immediately, we went into prayer mode, and he said that he had given her a blessing, and he said, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. And then, I came in the house and I realized at that point I needed to tell the girls what's happened. And so I went and told the girls, and of course there were lots of tears, and all of a sudden, I realized that, we needed blessings here too. And that, I needed to pray more because I didn't want to be afraid. I wanted to be strong for all the kids. And the thing that kept coming to my mind was bathe them in light, just surround them with light. And so that's what I did. In my mind, I visualized the girls just bathed in beautiful healing light. I visualized Zyla with all of the healing going up and down her spine, because when my daughter called, she said that Zyla's hands were they were like stiff, but then they were in like this weird contorted kind of awkward hand movements, and she couldn't move her body at all. And so when they got there to the scene, Zyla was already on the stretcher. Their friend, Precious, was already on the stretcher, and they were getting ready to put them in the ambulance. And there were 2 ambulances, and Danielle was going to go with them on the ambulance. But they had to get her, so they got her to the hospital here in Trenton, and then they life flighted her to Kansas City Mercy Children's Hospital, and then they came back here. And before they came back, my sons came I called everybody. Like, of course, everybody has to know. So I called everybody and asked for prayers. And I posted on Facebook, and everybody was so amazing. Just prayer after prayer after prayer. And I just really believe in the power of prayer. And it was incredible. Like, so many prayers were coming our way. And of course, family was praying too. And then my sons came and said, Mom, we're going to go to the hospital with them, and we're going to give another blessing to the girls again. And so we asked if they would give us all blessings. So they gave everybody in the house blessings, and me blessings, and all of Danielle and John blessings. And then they all went to Kansas City. And the miracles that we saw were incredible, you guys. I want to bear my testimony of miracles, because I have seen miracles in my life many, many times. But this was probably the most profound, and I'll probably cry, because we love these girls so much. And as I have watched them and thought about them each day, I am so grateful that they are still with us, because it could have been a very different situation. We did a family video a couple days after the accident to share the miracles that happened. And I wish that I had that video, but somehow it did not record. So I'm doing it this way, and I just wanted to share what happened, because while they were in the hospital, the guys all gave the girls blessings again. And I'll just say that after John's blessing, and while they were driving to the hospital, Zyla was able to move a couple of her fingers a little bit and a couple of her toes, but that's it. She couldn't move anything else. And they were very concerned about neurological damage. And so when they got to the hospital, they did all the MRIs, they did the CAT scans. There were no broken bones. Everything on the CAT scan looked fine. That didn't look like any brain damage, didn't look like any neurological damage, no, nothing, no spinal damage, nothing. By the time Danielle and John got there, she was doing really well. And it was an hour and a half from here to the hospital. And so, she was in pain, but she was able to start moving. And they showed us a picture of her on the stretcher, and her hands were down by her side, and her fingers had gone back to normal, and she wasn't in that weird kind of paralyzed state with her fingers. And just such a blessing. I remember when they sent the picture, I remember asking my sons, are you sure? Are you sure there's nothing, like no damage whatsoever? I'm kind of getting eaten by mosquitoes out here, you guys. So I'm just rubbing my fingers. Anyway, yeah, and there was nothing. Like, there was no damage anywhere. They didn't have any broken bones. Had very few bruising or scratches on their body. And the only thing that they knew was that she couldn't move her right arm. And I believe it was her right arm. I think so. Maybe it's her left. I can't remember now. But anyway, one of her arms she couldn't move. And so they told her that they would have to go see another doctor with an MRI for that. And so we're waiting on that to happen. Can't believe it's been a whole week and they still haven't given her an appointment. It's just kind of disturbing. Sometimes I feel like our medical care system is not the best. They're very slow. But the miracle is that Nautica was buckled in, and she had a very special experience. She said that as she was flying through the air, and she had this impression to put her hands up and on top of the roof, and she felt 3 sets of hands holding her down into her seat. And she could feel that. She knew there were angels with her and that she was being protected. And Zyla was the only one that had her window down, and she had been singing out the window before they went off the road. And when she flew out, she remembers flying through the air. She remembers getting the air knocked out of her, and she remembers looking up and seeing the car flip 2 more times as she is laying on the ground. She doesn't remember which side she fell on or how she fell or where she was laying. Maybe she passed out a couple times. I don't know. But we do know that their friend Precious stayed in the car, Zyla and Precious were not buckled in, so that's a lesson to the children to buckle in, keep your seatbelts on. But we also think maybe there was a blessing. Maybe it was important that Zyla leave the car because her part of the car was a little bit dented in, not a lot. I mean, the damage to the car was not even as much as you would expect it to be with that many rollovers and that many bangings on the ground. So that alone was a blessing. Precious, their friend, was in the back seat, and she got banged pretty good. She actually got the brunt of everything, I think, even though she didn't get ejected like Zyla did. She banged against the back seat of the car several times, and she's got bruising on her throat, and she's got or her neck, and she's got swelling around her heart, and she does have a couple fractured ribs, not broken, but cracked, fractured. But she's doing good too. And every one of these girls were so protected. It's interesting because we didn't get to give Precious a blessing. I wonder sometimes if hers would have been a little different, if she wouldn't have had so many things happen with her, if her injuries would have been less, if she had been able to receive a blessing, because Zyla was in critical condition. And after that blessing, she was fine, guys, completely fine. And Nautica was held in, and so she was fine. We did have Nautica checked really quickly afterwards to make sure that she was okay. They didn't take her in the ambulance, but when they got to the hospital, they checked her over really good. And they all have a lot of bruising internally, I'm sure. They're very sore, so I'm sure there's soft tissue damage, but they don't have a lot of bruising on the outside. They don't have any visible, real big gouges or scratches or anything. They just have a couple little ones, and it's just incredible. I just feel so grateful. We've had so many incredible things too. Like they had a skateboard and some heavy books and some other things inside the car, and none of that hit them. None of it even moved. It was exactly where it was when they first got in the car. And you would think that it would be in a different position after rolling 5 times. The other thing is that Nautica's glasses flew off her face, but landed in the back seat. And somehow those glasses ended up at the hospital with Precious's things. And she wondered where her glasses went. And they said, oh, this ended up with our stuff. They were not broken, no scratches, nothing. Also, their cell phones were not broken. They weren't cracked, nothing. In fact, Nautica's cell phone was still attached to the cord, the charging cord, and sitting right outside of the broken windshield. And their phones still work. Her battery was out a little bit, but their phones still work. They didn't even have that damage. There was a couple other things that I remember now. I'm trying to remember. I know that my daughter said that she felt deep concern, but never fear, that there was like a blessing placed upon her, that she would not feel fear, that it was just, she didn't. She felt concerned. In fact, when Jay came back from the hospital, she had this great big huge smile on her face, and she said, they're going to be okay, and she didn't know. She hadn't even been to the hospital yet, but she came and said, it's not as bad as we thought. And I don't know if she remembers saying that, because the other day I mentioned it to her and she goes, what? I didn't say that. But I heard that from her mouth. And that maybe was what helped me stay calm as a grandma. But it was just incredible, you guys. These girls are walking around. They're happy. They're just shining light is still bright in this world. And this has been such a testimony. Oh, the other thing I was going to say was Nautica had received her patriarchal blessing a couple of days before this event. It was a special thing that my daughter shared with me too before this happened. And I knew, first thing I knew was, oh my gosh, she had her blessing, and that was in her blessing. And I know she's going to be okay. She's going to survive this. She's going to be okay. But I didn't know about Zyla, and I was worried about Zyla. And so, like I said, I just kept having that message come to me to surround them in light. And I don't know if that was to help them or if that was to help me, but it sure helped me to feel calm because it was something that I could do. And, as moms and grandmas, it's like we have to have something to do. And so that was pretty incredible for me. But we just had so many incredible, beautiful blessings. Zyla's very, very close to her cousin Ventry, and Ventry was able to go to the hospital, and we didn't know if she'd even get in to see Zyla, but they did. They let them in, and the guys, when they got there, they said, we want to give her a blessing, and they were trying to keep them from coming in and giving the blessing, but somehow it worked out that they were able to go in, and they were able to give these girls blessings. And so that was a really beautiful thing, and a miracle also. And another miracle was that this sweet girl that's just walking behind me, that's cousin Ventry, and that she was able to see her sweet cousin Zyla, because they are glued to the hip. They are the best of friends. And for her to hear that this happened, this was another thing. She'd actually had a dream a few nights before. And in the dream, she saw the rollover, she saw the crash and everything. She just thought it was a bad dream. But then, of course, when this happened, she realized it wasn't just a bad dream. It was a prophetic dream. And she had decided not to go. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because of the dream or what, but she had decided not to go. So I feel like that was a miracle for maybe it was a protection for Ventry. Nautica was protected by being held in. Zyla was protected by being cushioned when she hit the ground. And Precious was being protected, even though she didn't get a blessing, that she's going to be okay. And every one of these sweet girls are just so incredibly wonderful. And they now have seen the gifts of God. They've seen the blessings. They now can have a testimony building within them of the blessings and miracles of priesthood blessings, the importance of priesthood blessings, and the gift and power of God that comes through priesthood blessings. So this will be something that we'll be talking about for the rest of our lives. When we had our family video that we did over Zoom afterwards to share all these little things with the rest of the family that was far away, and we wanted them to see the girls' faces so that, if you can't hug them and hold them, sometimes that's hard when you're far away. We wanted them to be able to see them. And so, as they were hearing all these little miracles, one of my sons said, wow, this is incredible. We have so much to be grateful for, because we could have been meeting for a very different reason, and we're really grateful. And it's just, a testimony to me to stay close to one another, keep in touch, call each other all the time, tell each other how much you love each other, never take a day for granted, and love on one another continually. Let those you know how much you care, and don't let them even guess for a single second how you feel about them. So I just wanted to share that miracle and just bear my testimony that God lives. Miracles are real. And the blessings of the power of the priesthood is a real thing. So just wanted to share that with all of you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. If you have any questions, I'm going to post this on Facebook. So if you have any questions, you can post below where I post it and in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But I just want to thank you all for your prayers. We had hundreds of people praying, and it was pretty incredible. The power of prayer is beautiful and wonderful, and the power of prayer brings miracles. So all of it is this big, beautiful thing all rolled up into one. And I just wanted to share that with you tonight. So thank you, friends, for being the type of prayer warriors that we can call at any time. And wanted you to share what your prayers have done. Love you all. Bye-bye.